What is up, everybody? How are you guys doing this Sunday? It's Sunday, 8 o'clock. Well, some point in time around 8 o'clock. I'm stoked that you are here hanging out with me today. Also got my good friend, co-host Alex Rainiello coming in. We're gonna hang out, dude. It's been a hot minute. We've been gone for a few weeks. That was my doing. I'll own up to it. I got sick and I got other things going on, and not that podcasting isn't the center of my universe. It is really. It's just my universe has been spinning out of control in a good way lately. Anyway, Alex, how you been, man?
It's all good, man. Life happens. The world keeps spinning. There's a lot of shit stirring up in the streets here. So let's talk a little bit about it. Great to hear from you, man.
Absolutely. Before we get into all of the craziness we had this week, don't forget to like and subscribe, you jabronis. You know the routine. We're going to get into it. I correlated all of the thumbnail and the title to start with M's because I like that literary feature. Mamdani, MTG, and the MAGA Meltdown. We're going to get into it. There were some other topics. We're going to hit the Jan 6 bombing, but none of them had M's in them. Alex, I also was like, these are hot button issues. These are going to work great for the thumbnail. So we'll see how that does.
100%.
I've been, so everybody watching and listening, I've been unplugged. I got sick and then I had other things. And so I've, as a good person, barely been on the internet. My brain rot has kind of like subsided and my brain cells started coming back and I forgot the internet existed. Forgot we're going to hit Dick Cheney died. Totally forgot that happened this week. The pipe bomber thing, we're going to hit that today. Elon was back on Rogan. Didn't even know. Had no clue. that's how bad it's been for me on this side. So we're gonna hit those things, man. But I wanted to start with them on. Oh, let's go and plug. You got anything going on you want to talk to people about?
Yeah, we'll do our credits at the end. Just keep
Okay.
it busy. I got some shows coming up, but we'll wrap with that.
Good. It's good to hear somebody's doing something. Because it feels like I'm not doing anything up here. I did have
It's that time of year. I had a 2-week sickness too, so everybody stay away from me.
Oh, thank God. Thank God somebody else is dealing with this. Not that I'm happy you got sick, but I am somewhat happy that somebody else got sick. I feel so bad.
Misery loves company.
Dude, you're in the Northeast with me. Mamdani got elected, which I think everyone saw this coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right? Okay.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this before we get into some clips, some other things? You got any generic thoughts? I'll tell you what mine are after you. But tell me your feeling about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like everybody kind of got desensitized. You kind of saw the free fall coming 6 weeks in advance when we found out that Sliwa wasn't going to drop out and endorse Cuomo. So we knew that it was basically a runaway, with Mamdani. I really loved. I left the taste of my mouth left with when he finally broached the police chief Jessica Tisch, basically, informing her like, hey, this is what we're doing. We're going to try to make amends, make an olive branch here. And then he does the same thing. He has the staffer working for McKinsey and Company, basically broaching all the tech bros on Wall Street, all the Wall Street bros, saying it's not going to be free fall. Don't run for Florida. Keep capital gains here. Like, let's make this work. And then he goes and makes his deliverance speech to accept, and he says, turn up the volume. Divide, 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 and then basically the rhetoric, he just cranked it up to 11. So, my initial instinct is that this is a Ugandan rich kid. He's ahistorically retarded. He's got intel parents. He preys upon using his charms and good looks. He preys upon college educated women under 30. Awfuls is what they're called, affluent white female liberals. It kind of saw this coming a mile away. But it really is a hallmark and immediate indictment of the pro-Zionist narrative that's gone on at least the past year with Trump. We just passed the 1-year anniversary of him winning the election. I think this is the biggest referendum on Israel, and we'll kind of get more into the breakdown after I hear some of your thoughts and kind of go back and forth on it. But I think that this is probably the biggest indictment, the biggest referendum on Israel in terms of just this election. But we kind of knew who was going to turn out. We knew it was going to be college-educated women under 44. If you look at some of the exit polling, Mamdani won 75% of people under 30 and 69% of people under 44. The only thing that Cuomo won in terms of the demographic breakdown was 65 and older, so the boomer. So it's just it's a turn of the leaf. It's a passing of the torch, whether we like it or not, with immigrants running that city, and it's going to be like this for a while. And I think this is going to be moth to a flame for people who want free shit to come to the city,
Yep.
and productive people avoiding taxes getting out of the city. So as someone who lives in the tri-state area in Connecticut, I didn't really shit a brick like people because I knew that productive people would come downstream to Connecticut, and I'll be, either vindicated in that prospectus, or I will eat shit. But I think some of the policy based stuff we can kind of talk to after, but I wanted to get some of your thoughts as well.
Yeah, and I again, I'm with you. I saw it coming. I saw that I had so many different thoughts about it. The psyop of him being not what he says, but that was a given.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's no way this is a grassroots move. And again, I think New Yorkers free stuff, when you're like, you're gonna get free things. Yeah, that's gonna be a major turnout for sure. But I don't think that wins elections, not in the city. And when you have a guy like Cuomo running, and you're like, oh, the entire establishment, which we're gonna get to in a minute, is behind Cuomo. I mean, even Trump endorsed Cuomo, which I thought was in poor taste.
Yeah.
And even like he could have endorsed Sliwa, but my problem is like you could have saved face knowing that he was going to lose anyway. And I don't know why Trump did that, because it was just like, this was anybody paying attention was like, no, this isn't going to work out unless you thought the mob already had it in the bag, which was my only other thing. I was like, if Cuomo wins, then we know some wise guys might be behind him with it. Being like, show them Pierce nipples, be like something like that. Maybe that's
Pierce
it. But
nipples for Palestine.
no one forgot Cuomo. And I think people in the political realm think that name recognition, it only works for boomers, because everybody under 30, there's two things. This is how I knew Mamdani was going to win.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them actually dips into this whole MAGA divide. So I'm going to try to kind of parse this away from it before we jump into another topic on accident.
Mm-hmm.
But one of them was New Yorkers do remember Cuomo not being that great. And they also unwittingly, the Democrat Party crapped all over Cuomo in the end. I'm in New York, so I remember all this happening. He's like, he's touching ladies, and he's like, I'm Italian. That didn't work out well for him. And then
I killed your grandmother.
Well, that was the other thing. So all the left was like, he's sexually harassing girls, and all the right was like, he's killing grandmas.
Yeah.
So he had it from both ends, pun intended. But I think he's gay, but that's just me, and that's okay.
DP'd on 5th Street.
Yeah, and so I thought having him come in was just kind of dumb. He didn't have his brother running cover for him this time around either.
Yep.
And so he lost kind of a chess piece off the board. Sliwa, I love that guy. I think it's great that he's getting, the older he gets, the more attention he gets. And I appreciate that. And he hasn't let up the bread, but he was going to lose anyway. That was my first thing. The second thing, the Mamdani thing, I want to bring up before we get into clips, because we have some clips we're going to watch, and we got some takes to get. Jimmy Dore's take, which we most likely agree with him.
Yeah.
We tend to do so. The Mamdani thing, the thing where I think the right wing never had a dog in this fight is New York City. It's Staten Island, maybe, or Long Island, maybe a little bit, but they weren't gonna. What you got?
Quick point before we bounce back. They do have a stake to the governorship, though, and we'll talk about that later.
Oh yeah, that one I'm looking forward to.
Yeah,
because everybody, Democrats included, don't like Hochul. They're really failing on their propaganda, and so I think propaganda is not working well. Nope. But I have two more points. I'm going to make them quick. The right wing going after Mamdani for being Muslim and trying to pull the Dearborn thing out, I thought was a stupid take. You don't have to use that identity politics when you have a glaring communist identity right there, which is, that's just bad ideas. It's not like your religion. So I was like, if I was a right winger hardcore and I was like, I want to take this Mamdani guy out, I wouldn't have played the Muslim thing so hard up, thinking that Dearborn, Michigan, and the Islam enclaves was going to do anything for anybody in the city. No one cares. And he never nothing about him made me think Sharia law. Everything about him made me think commie. And that's because everything out of his mouth was commie. It was just straight up and it was unabashedly commie. And I was like, why would you even spend time on the Islam thing when he's literally a commie? This is like this is fish in a barrel, um, which is something commies don't have because that's food. And so it was so easy for them to just hang out on the but they were like, let's bring the Dearborn, Michigan. He's a Muslim. He's going to have Sharia law. The problem with the Sharia law in New York City, that might help New York City. And so you should have just left Sharia law somewhere else. Because if they do bring Sharia law in New York City, we might have a nice Times Square again. Things might actually not be so dangerous. The subways might be rideable. And so
An eye for an eye.
Exactly. So I don't think I think the right wing, that was the only thing. The other thing, and this is where I'm gonna have a hard time dipping into our other topic, but I do want to say it. I did get in some conversations the little bit of time I was on the internet this week. And people couldn't figure out why the younger generation was veering towards Mamdani. And I was like, it's super easy. Even if it's super easy, it's really hard out there. Like, it's just hard to pay for stuff. And so every talk, and you'd be like, well, communism doesn't work in capitalism. Well, all these young kids are looking at capitalism being like, this doesn't look right. It just, I can't afford anything. So that was his winning sell. And they could have tried to spend time on that. Like, all the people coming after Mamdani been like, well, let's really talk about affordability. But instead they went straight to anti-Semite because of that one ridiculous debate where anybody with any sense should have answered the way Mamdani answered. What they were like, where are you going to go for your first trip? Where are you going to go when you spend taxpayer money going across seas? And he was like, no, I'm going to hang out. Which was a great answer. He is a commie, but it's low hanging fruit. How come no one on that stage was like, no, let's hold off on the foreign trips, regardless of where they are. Let's hang out here for a little bit. New York is hurting. Let's spend some time. That was such a great answer. And it was so easy. And so personally, I think everyone who ran in that little debate and answered the way that deserves to lose, because that was they were all dumb answers with their Israel answers, just straight up dumb. So they deserve to lose. But the second thing is, there is a small part of me that is an accelerationist. And so I'm like, everyone who thinks communism is going to work, this is going to be fun to watch. Even my wife, dude, she was like, what if it works? And I go, hell will not freeze over that soon. I was like, it will never work, because it never does. And there is no logically way where any of this works. It never works, because you can't even in war theory, game theorying out communism still ends in death and destruction. You're like, what are all the cool possibilities? Just give it 10 years.
But David, it wasn't done right.
There is no done right. The only way communism is done right is with a free market. And then you're like, oh, we're out of communism. Good. Hey, everybody, there's more than just done right.
The only way it's done right is when you have stacks of bodies like fire kindling.
Yeah. The only way communism is done right is when everyone's armed, and that they've already got that solved in New York. So, but that was a long rant in my point.
No, that was beautiful. Nice compliment to kind of what I had brought up initially. I think the other things I would say with like some of the sanctuary laws and blocking ICE is that, again, he's going to be very beholden to Hochul even on her way out. I don't think she's going to call from inside the house and burn the house down on her way out. I think that she does have integrity, at least from the DNC side, to hold that seat in terms of the governorship. So I think that she's going to be a little savvy even on the way out, as stupid as she is. And she's going to block a lot of things that he wants to get done. I think realistically, the only thing he's going to be able to do is the rent freeze, which historically has already been done multiple times, and it means different things to different people. But again, people need to scrap the idea, the stupid people under 35, under 40 that have this mythical illusion that New York needs to be affordable. It's like, no, people just don't need to be on the street, but they can live across the bridge in fucking Jersey. No one's giving you a right to claim to live in the biggest city in the world. So I just the whole thing, and then free buses and the grocery store affordability and stuff, like those could be done through subsidies, but his racial divide of taxation and his plan radically to kind of create that runaround is going to be really telling. And I think he's going to have to, if he's going to try to thread the needle to appease and keep, if it's all talk, to keep the Wall Street people there through his rhetoric. If he's going to thread that needle by offering all these free things and jacking taxes, then there has to be some kind of bait and switch. He's got to pay off the people at hand on Wall Street to keep them appeased, because there's going to be a lot of capital leaving, including the jobs that all the young people are allegedly coveting to run there for.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, all you need to know that this isn't grassroots again is that, you know, he's a self-ascribed Marxist, socialist, communist. He's from Uganda. His parents are Intel babies, and that the fact that he's backed by $24 million from Alex Soros tells you everything you need to know. And I think I want to leave that for last for a reason.
Yeah, dude, that was my point. It was like, well, he's gonna have to pay off these people. Where's he gonna get the money from? Bing, bang, boom.
Open
This
society,
is where he's getting. This is where he's getting the money from. I got the dude. I got this, and I don't know who this person is, but he said the billionaire socialism is not socialism with the capital S. Marx called the bourgeoisie socialism. This is elite controlled socialism to enslave. It's always a psyop, dude. This is exactly what it is. It's just to make you think that it's socialism, to enslave the masses and protect the financial system. Exhibit A. Here's billionaire Alex Soros with his good friend Mamdani to celebrate the victory. This was, I mean, again, it's one of those things where like, it's none of this is real. It's just not real. It's not real anymore.
Yeah. It's like pick your, it's like, it's billionaires fighting with billionaires. It's
yeah.
Like, all it is.
Yeah. And they're just throwing you.
Right. With a sprinkle of Zionism. Yeah.
I have a buddy of mine from school back in the day, and he's I can't pin him down other than like he's a leftist. He's a hardcore leftist. But he's a commie socialist guy. Matter of fact, he was one of the people I was having a conversation about socialism, because he's down south. I won't say where he is. He's down south, and he always posts about Mamdani. He's like, "Can you imagine being in Mamdani?" And I commented on his little post about Mamdani being awesome. I commented and said, "Dude, as a New Yorker, I can say I am proud to say that we have the best bread lines." And he didn't find that comment very funny. I did. And then he was like, well, yeah, you have bread lines because of capitalism. He didn't understand. I mean, he knew I was joking, but he went with the joke as if New York actually has bread lines. But he also didn't understand crony capitalism. So it was just a funny. I just commented back up the Trump gif of him being like this, you know. So
before we move off New York too, I just wanted to say, you know, in terms of Hochul's future and, you know, being rivaled as the incumbent, I think Stefanik does have a great shot, especially that she's distanced herself from the Trump campaign in recent months. Not you know, in a soft manner, but at least realistically speaking, from her rhetoric standpoint. But we got to give, even though he's going to lose, we got to give love to our man Larry Sharp too at 8%. God bless him. God bless him. I met him at the Libertarian Party convention here in Connecticut 2 years ago. Great guy, so entertaining. Got a beautiful daughter. So I just want to give a shout out to him too.
Oh, absolutely. I've actually had him on the podcast. You can go to Pardonable Podcast and find our episode. I got a chance to talk to him about my conversation with him, because it was an art podcast back there, was specifically, why are all my artist friends lefties and not libertarians? I couldn't, and me and him just sat there and talked about like how government funded art is just god awful, and we couldn't figure it out why all my artist friends were. And I was like, oh, just because they're what was that?
It's all predictive programming, corporate.
Yeah. That's basically what it was. But yeah, Larry Sharp, dude, he's still rocking. Every once in a while I'll pop into one of his shows. He still does a show, and and just hang out. He's just a wealth of information and good ideas. It's sad because you can tell like his ideas probably will never come to fruition, but he keeps talking about them, and that's what's really important, because most people think about like his ideas for New York City or when he was running for governor. He had some really good ideas that I couldn't. Like, I can game theory out communism and how awful it is. Some of his theories, I was like, if you really run this to the gamut, they're good. They're good for the city and the state. But
private ownership rights for public municipality, you know, purposes, I think are a great idea. You know, the naming rights. He did a whole open roundtable on PBD a few years ago with Dave Smith and a few others. That was really good.
Yeah. And so him not getting far in New York is not because he's not a good candidate. Him not getting far in New York is because the Democrats and Republicans shut him out. They constantly change the rules on him. Every time he goes to run, they're like, no, you need this many signatures now. And you're like, what? And so it's if everyone who thinks like New York is a Democrat stronghold, it is. But libertarians aren't getting any love from the right wing. by any means. So if I was ever run in New York, I would run it as a what all the other libertarians are doing is they're running as Republicans with libertarian bent.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Massive, yeah.
I don't think that's a bad move. I know we're sidetracking into it. I think that's a great move because the more which leads into another topic tonight. The more libertarians in the Republican Party actually does make a difference. And I know hardcore Republicans are like, they're always not voting for the things we're supposed to be unifying. It's like, no, we're a Bulworth from your stupid status quo that we've been living through forever. And they're like, how come people are actually, do you want to just move into that, dude? Do you want to go into the MAGA meltdown with MTG and stuff?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Yeah, we can get into it.
So,
yeah,
go ahead. About your thoughts. No, I was going to say, tell me your thoughts on, because there's a lot of people involved and it is a bit of an internet thing. I don't know if everybody's clued into all the characters, but I have my own perspective of what was going on. And I had some conversations this week, but tell me what your thought. Do you think this is a meltdown? Do you think this is a psyop? Do you think this means anything?
No, I think this was fomented populist kind of inertia waiting to pop off. I think that this has been a long time coming. You saw it, with some of the early setbacks with the Epstein files not being released. That really pissed MTG off, especially having a couple young sons of her own. I think just the lack of accountability with the Gaza-Israel stuff has really fractured and continue to be kind of the dividing line and the red line between the party. And real MAGA versus fake MAGA or versus woke right, if you want to call it that. And the
big
woke right, yes,
as BB says,
yeah, it's some SS shit. And yeah, so the Epstein stuff, and then the healthcare premiums. I mean, the Affordable Care Act with the subsidies expiring, that's gonna primarily impact a lot of people, even Trump voters under the MAGA base that rely on Medicare, Medicaid, and stuff. And then you see that there's this $35 billion bill that's basically a bailout for Novo Nordisk and a couple other smaller healthcare providers, pharmaceutical companies that are basically getting their GLP-1 drugs getting covered through the healthcare that's coming down the pipe. So that's been stalling a lot of these premiums in this negotiation with the healthcare bill. So I think because of the healthcare issues with the affordable premiums that are no longer they're going to be out the window. I think she's very popular locally with her constituents. She's won, numerous elections because of it. And she's a firebrand. But I think at the end of the day, with people under 40 and this populist energy, it's not going away. And she's very tethered to her children who have that young spirit, and she's very invested in the future, unlike a lot of our representatives that are over 70. So it's just, I think she's thinking about 28, not in the sense that like, oh shit, I need to clean up my act because I need to run for 28. I think she's thinking like, what does a post-Trump era look like for the Republican Party? And she's trying to make it as marketable and healthy divide between left and right in a way that broadens the umbrella as much as possible. I think she sees the dividing lines with people under 40 about the unaffordability and the draining support for Israel and the healthcare premiums being completely out of reach. I think those are the kind of the dividing lines that are going to run that 28 ticket, and whoever ends up getting that torch is going to have to subscribe to that. And I think she's just kind of putting things out there and getting in front of it.
I think, to be honest, I was never a giant MTG fan.
Me neither.
I just never really paid attention to her. Not because she's a woman, but partly because I was like, what was this woman saying again? She's hysterical with Jewish space lasers. But you're absolutely right. That was one of the conversations. I hopped on a space, I think it was this week, and they were most of them were Christian Zionists, and they were talking about the MAGA divide. And they were all like, I don't understand these Nick Fuences and these Tucker Carlsons where they're getting all this money. And I was just enjoying. I have no qualms with Christian Zionists. I just like to talk to them every once in a while. And they were like, all this Nazi anti-Semitism talk, this whole part of MAGA needs to be crushed. And that's when I popped in. I was like, you guys are doing it again. I said, every time and this is the MTG, the Tucker Carlsons, the Dave Smiths, all of them, it's not, and everyone's like, they're just anti-Semitic. It's like, you're not even listening to what the main issue is. They're addressing things that younger voters aren't Nazis. They're broke. They're broke. And that's the problem they're having. It just so happens that every time someone mentions, hey, everybody's broke, can we help Americans out? And you're like, they're obsessed with Israel. It's like, no, we keep sending them money. I don't care. Just help us out a little bit. Help the people. If you were, and that's the thing where it's like, how about Trump's in charge? Why don't we help people out? Where's the prices going to drop? And because it was Israel, and you're an anti-Semite if you don't, sign on to all these bills, and all these people that are quote unquote firebrands, they're doing the Mamdani thing again, which is easy picking fruit. This younger generation's broke. They don't hate Jews. They're broke. And if you tie being broke to anti-Semitism, guess what? Now they're like, fine. If you're going to call me a Jew hater, because I'm probably kicked off YouTube at this point, but if you call me this because I have no money to afford a house, and I'm noticing we're sending like all the same people, this is what blew my mind. All the same people are like, why are we sending Israel money? Are all the same people like, why are we sending Ukraine money? It's like, well, they're anti-Ukrainian. We did get that at one point in time, but no one cares about Ukraine. And so now it's just Israel. And so that it's easy hanging fruit, and it's easy for anybody, I guess, on our side to see. It's like, hey man, these people are broke. And Marjorie Taylor Greene's one of them, man. She's one of them. And then she just happens to agree on some of the other things that it seems like if you have one perspective, they all tie into another one, like the Epstein list.
They're downstream. Yeah.
What do you think? And here's my question, because I have my assumptions. What do you think being broke and wanting to be afford a house has anything to do with Epstein? Because apparently with the MAGA split, you're if you want the Epstein files to be released, you're probably on one side of this split. Why? That makes no sense to me.
Yeah. Well, specifically with the Epstein situation, the left wants him released because they want to dunk on Trump and they want to expose him. The right wants him released because of the integrity of the campaign promises, but also you're holding account child trafficking pedophiles. Yeah. The worst of the worst when we think of any kind of criminal on the face of the earth. But just going back to the Israel thing, because I don't want to harp on it too much, but it continues to be a through line both with Epstein and with the real MAGA thing, is that, again, she's capitalizing MTG on just the populist energy that has not been answered. So they go on. So when Dave Smith and Clint and Ian Carroll were recently on Liberty Lockdown, they were just nailing it. I mean, over and over and over again. I mean, just talking about this energy has to go somewhere and it has to be accounted for. And, the shills in the media like Levin and Shapiro and all these freaking just sociopaths, Randy Fine, saying all this crazy shit online and stuff. It's like they're just proving the point that whether you like it or not, Candace and Tucker and Fuentes, they all won. They're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
You can't keep killing people out in the open, figuratively speaking, wink, wink.
In Minecraft.
Yeah, on behalf of the state. And I think she's just making a stake. She's putting her flag in the ground. She's saying, is this Israel first or is it America first? And I think with a tent, you can bring in a lot of independents and Democrats and libertarians with that message. That's the point. That's what Mamdani, to bring it back to the first clip that we did, that's what he capitalized on first. That's what brought him in with his first debate, his home run within that debate, is that he had thousands, if not tens of thousands of New York Jews vote for him. I mean, if he's a Muslim socialist, he's this theocrat, that should be an immediate threat to their existence, but it's not. People know that it's not the rhetoric. It's not about that policy. It's the fact that he is willing to put New York before Israel.
Yeah. No, I think to me that was the through line. It seems like it's not even the blame thing. And I know the just asking questions is a trope. I get it, but the problem is, it's hard to wrap my brain around because it seems like the Mamdani debate again. Where, like, I remember when Rabbi Shmuley came out and he was debating Candace and all that back in the day, and I sat back and said, "Is this some kind of psyop? Is he a plant to make all of the people look bad. Like, he's so bad at this. Like, how this I don't buy this for a minute that this guy is legit on this side arguing for them.
Right.
And that just seemed to kept happening, and it was like swing and a miss for every time. And I'm starting to realize that there is a group of people, not that group, I'm just in general, leftists, Democrats, people, there's just people in every camp. There's just a bunch of people in every camp that are just disingenuous. Like, one of the things that threw me off was, it was one of those things where, like, you couldn't have wrote this better. Is Shapiro came out after the Charlie thing, or before the Charlie thing, or around the Charlie thing. I remember because I listened to this Daily Wire episode with him, and he was like, "Why do we care who shot JFK?" And I was like, "Bro, don't do this. Stop. Don't do this. Don't shirk off there." And I get it. Like, everyone's like, "Well, Israel is assassinating everybody." If Israel BB needs to hire me, because I could do this so much better. Just be a little bit more self-effacing. Like, how are you missing it this hard? And I think that's what it is. Again, I don't go back to, like, obviously Israel first is a big thing, and we're America first or Israel first. These are just easy. If you were all for Israel and all for America, and you were just like, I'm just going to prioritize America a little bit, then it's incompatible now. And it used to not be. You used to be able to be like, I'm all about America, and Israel's not bad either. That used to be a thing. But now
that used to be the normie Clinton line.
And now you can't, because if I go, hey, like, I don't mind Christian Zionism. Why are you getting on Tucker? Like, I've listened to his podcast. He's not. Oh, and the martyr made the Daryl, the guy,
Cooper,
the guy.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, he just said the Holocaust didn't happen. And I went and listened to it, and I was like, you're lying to me.
Nope.
You're lying to me again. You lie to me like the Democrats did when they said Trump said there was verified people on both sides. I was like, when I start seeing that you're lying, all credibility is out. So I'm gonna have to go with the people who are not lying, or at least not blatantly lying to the point where I think they think I'm dumb, because that's insulting to me. And if you insult me by thinking I'm dumb, that I don't need to worry about who shot JFK, then I'm going to go, okay, fine. Israel must have done it because of what you just said.
Well, he said, why is it relevant who shot JFK? It's like, well, why is the Holocaust still relevant? It happened even further back than that. Because I mean, we know why both are significant, but he's playing stupid. And it's like, there's obviously an immediate follow-up retort to that.
I don't know if these people think everyone's still dumb, or we're just at that point where, no, everything is relevant.
Cartoonish. It's cartoonish.
It's cartoonish that they're fumbling the ball this much. And I remember watching clips of Ben Shapiro dunk on college kids, and I was like, yeah, I totally agree with this guy. Like, it does make sense. And I don't know what happens. Like, what?
Well, he ducks real competitions. And that's kind of like, if you're a Seinfeld fan, it's like when Kramer beats up with his karate, he beats up that little kid. That's kind of like the equivalent of Shapiro dunking on blue-haired 500-pound whale leftists on college campuses. But just, the other thing too, to tie this together, I want you to kind of follow your point first, and then I'll jump it back in on it.
That was my only point, and I guess since we're kind of in the MAGA divide, the only other thing, and I said this in that same Twitter space, we were like, they all thought there was dissent. Basically, what they were trying to tell me is Qatar was paying influencers on the Tucker Carlson, the Candace Owens. It's foreign influence, and I had to stop and be like, you guys realize that this is projection, right? Had you said this before BB came out and said we're paying all our influencers and we're trying to buy TikTok, then I might have believed you. But because you're taking the Israel's paying influencers playbook and then just changing it to Qatar, just makes me go, really? That was one thing. But I tried to explain to him that this I don't think this divide is what they think it is. They think it's lefties, like Candace is an actual Democrat, and they're just trying to fumble Trump. And I was like, no. This is not it. The left lost, and they lost so bad, which normally happens, that no one cares about them anymore. And I tried to explain to them, I was like, this MAGA movement, this divide, these people were here when Trump got elected. You guys just thought everybody loves Trump. They're a Trump sycophant. I was like, no, there's anarchists, there's libertarians, there's independents, there's lefties who got sick of the woke thing. Everybody was under the MAGA tent or whatever. and I was like, this happened way early on when Elon started tweeting about Trump being on this list. I was like, the divide happened a long time ago, and everybody was already paying attention. As soon as he bombed Iran, that was half the MAGA crew bucked up. I was like, that wasn't Pay Carlson stuff. That wasn't Dave Smith being paid by the DNC. These are legit concerns people have, and you ignore it. And it's like, since everyone ignored it, Trump included, who was like, everybody asking about the Epstein list, they need to get off the Trump train. It was like, whoa, no, like we're here, and we're just happen to say true things out loud. And
now it's Venezuela too.
Yeah, and the problem is, dude, and it's almost like it was the same woke situation that I saw come up where everyone's like, you're a racist. And we all saw the anti-Semitism thing going down that route. Like, you're an anti-Semite. And you're like, I don't.
It's the DEI for the right. That's what it is.
I don't care anymore. I don't care. And so that was my only point. Is I think here's what I'll make this last point. I don't think this MAGA divide is. I don't think it's a psyop.
No,
but here's the thing. I think you're right. I think the MTG. I think it's a fight for the top. What people I think are underestimating this, and what I saw from the right side is people like it's blood in the water for the Democrats to win. Look at Mamdani. Look at New Jersey. And my point was like, no. I don't think so. I think these are just spot off one shots that we all saw coming.
Right.
I think MAGA's fighting because no one cares about lefties anymore. Like, no one cares about them.
They're relevant to the conversation.
Yeah, and that's my point. It's like, no. They're using this to divide man. It's like, no. All it takes is for them to run a Kamala again, and everyone be like, all right, you call me an anti-Semite. It's the Matt Walsh thing. Put up Kamala, and then watch MAGA come back together. All right, we're voting this crazy person out, and then we'll go back to fighting about the same stuff we've been fighting about, which is healthy.
And I think this is the natural growing pains. I think this progression needs to happen now to divide who's real MAGA and who's not, because you still have a year before the midterms to come out looking as best you possibly can as a party before that time comes to present yourself to the voters. Now, I agree with you. I don't think MTG at the end of it, she's reverse engineering this, and she's trying to find the key issues to how we got here. But I think she ultimately is not going to be the face of whatever this engineered new MAGA is going to be. I think whoever capitalizes on this synergy and joins the party, so to speak, whoever comes out on top, whether it's Tucker or it's Candace or something, is going to be the face of that before we hit 28. And really, it's just validating concerns across the board. The reason I think it's a uniparty, it's a multi-partisan thing, consensus that you could pull in a lot of people under this ticket, hypothetically speaking, ticket, is because all you have to do from our autistic libertarian perspective is like, you need to just address people by like saying, hey, it sucks that your money's not worth, it's worth 3 pennies on the dollar that it was, back in 73. Hey, it sucks that you can't afford things that you bought 5 years ago. It sucks that you can't do this, you can't do that you need a vaccine passport, hypothetically. You need, you need to kiss the wall for Israel. Like, all these things suck, right? And identify the reasons why. And if you do that, being a little tongue-in-cheek here, you bring those people together in the form of a coalition. Yeah. I mean, it was like when the guy Christian Smalls, the guy who that Jimmy Dore always refers back to, who brought everybody together on a union strike at the Amazon warehouse distribution facility. Like, he did it because he didn't go and pick out of the litter and say, oh, are you MAGA? Get out of here. Are you for the Board of Education? Get out of here. Are you black or are you white? Get out of here. He brought everybody together across those economic lines, and the economic stuff is what's going to drive everything.
Always
does.
Yeah, because it's the most relevant to people. Like,
you feel it right away.
Yeah, instantly.
You don't need to see anything else.
And I think this happened back again all year. Every time MAGA starts fighting and there's a meltdown, there's coalitions. I'm Jocko willing. I'm good. Because I want the strongest to survive. I would prefer I want the best of the best anyway. So let them fight to the top. And the people who are lying, who can't handle the heat, they'll drop back down to the bottom, or they'll get in line, which I think is what will happen. as soon as another actual opposition shows up, until there's another left, like a commie runs for, like a Mamdani runs for, governor of, well, New York, it's not going to matter, but starts running for president, or Newsom. As soon as Newsom takes that stage, it's not like Tucker Carlson's going to pull a Nick Fuentes, be like, don't vote for whoever is running. No one's going to do that, because most people love America at a point to where they'll keep fighting within. I don't think this is my prediction. I don't think it's going to hurt the right wing as much as people are worried about it.
No, I think it's going to unify them. It's happening at the exact right time if you think strategically.
Yeah, I agree. We got some comments in. We got Michael Giuliano coming. He says exactly what we're talking about. Left isn't relevant, and they know it, and they're throwing a fit because that's all they can do. And Michael's right. That's all they know how to do is throw fits. It is, but that's true. That's all they know how to do. He says he was in Manhattan, Brooklyn all week, and got to see. I bet you in a month it will look different, and not in a good way. Give it a month, and he won't even be. What I'm saying is he won't even be mayor yet, and it'll already start to. I think things already start taking effect. We also got Grumpy Gnome hanging out. Hey, what's up, Grumpy? He said we have a libertarian leaning Republican on our show tonight. Real TJ Roberts. Go leave this stream and go check out Grumpy's show. No, I'm joking. I mean, don't leave here. But pop into his.
I gotta drop some shit posting seeds somewhere. So
yeah,
Grumpy Gnome, I'll see you in the comments. Yeah,
exactly.
You don't know me if you think I'm a Republican dressed as a libertarian. Silly boy.
Oh no, I think he's talking about a totally. He's got a candidate on. Him and Mad Dog are a funny crew. I don't know if you pay attention to them.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to go further. And I'm glad that was a very nice comment he put in my chat versus what I've seen him do other places. Anyway, yeah, dude, that's the Meltdown thing and the MAGA and the MTG. I don't have that big of a dog in that fight, so I like to sit back.
I want to see it play out, man.
I want to see it play out. I've already got pinned on one side because I'm a fan of Dave Smith. I'm a fan of Tucker Carlson, and now I'm a fan of MTG. I mean, I was before. Massey, I was fan. I still find it. It seems like a fumble every time Trump says he wants to come out and primary Massey. And
fucking crazy.
I don't know what's going on over there, but it's just one of those things like, oh, this is dumb. But it also feels like it feels dumb in a way when he was like, hey, if you're still asking about the Epstein files, why don't you get out of here? And I was like, in my head, I didn't get offended at it. It was kind of laughable, and I had the Captain America meme where he's old and he's like, no, I don't think I will. And that's how I thought. I was like, I'm gonna stick around, and I'm gonna hang out in this MAGA coalition. I'm just gonna keep saying the things I want to say until they physically kick me out, because I like it, and I think the cream will rise to the top. We also got Juliana come back in and saying, where'd it go? Make AOC bartend again. I don't think at this point she could even be a bartender. I actually think that was a lie. She was probably a drink girl where they come and get the beers and bring it to the table. I don't see her mixing anything. I don't see her being good at it.
Michael Giuliano, that is the shortest his beard will ever be. I think he's on a No Shave November kick.
Is he?
You tell me, dog.
Oh, I just looked at this. That's the shortest his beard. Oh, I just saw this comment. I didn't know you could see it. What's the shortest his beard will ever be? And will be in. Are you talking about me? He might be. Or he's probably talking about Mamdani. My beard is it's gonna get bigger as November, and I'm not converting to Islam. Although maybe now that I'm in New York,
that's a good transition to Dick Cheney dying.
That is a great transition. Speaking of Muslim nations, Dick Cheney, dude, tell me about your thoughts on old Dick. Okay, so I want to start this off with, we just got done with people celebrating the death of somebody people really enjoyed and they didn't disagree with them. What are your thoughts on celebrating deaths? Because I am big fans of a lot of people who every time McCain's death comes around and it's the picture of happy holidays, and it's Anyway, I always think of it's funny, and then I'm like, that's probably not that funny because he was tortured, and so I feel bad.
Yeah.
So sometimes I gotta not laugh at things. And Dick Cheney dying was one of those things. Like I'll give you my initial response when I heard, "Oh wait, he was still alive." That was instantly the only thing I had. But I forgot he was still alive. What are your thoughts on old Dickie Cheney?
Yeah, it was Satan's stepchild. Yeah, passing away at 84. Yeah, that was real blow to my Christian values. Yeah, no, I was really losing sleep over that. No, I mean it's just good riddance to an awful human being. I think if you're a public servant, I think you're up for criticism in the worst way. And then if you have any morality within you, like from like a Christian worldview perspective, I think it kind of kicks in at the time when you wish death before you wish death upon people. In terms of private citizens, I would never wish any harm or death upon anybody, even the people I hate the most.
Yeah,
But yeah, with public servants, you're literally taking my money. So yes, I hate you.
I agree.
But I just think about all the lies that cost us trillions in war spending. That's really what it boils down to. I just think about what the military was in 2001, a world before um, before the the before air travel really changed. What's the department? I'm fucking blanking.
TSA,
Thank you.
Homeland Security.
Before Homeland Security and TSA, but particularly with TSA, the way the protocols that shape our lives in the past 25 years, how life changed so dramatically after that, and to know that it was all kind of propped up by Halliburton stock and the interests, the puppeteering running Bush Jr., the weapons of mass destruction, the U.S. troops greeted as liberators, which never happened, the Abu Ghraib torturing, the interrogation being lawful and effective, all that shit, and the fact that he gave birth to the spawn that we know as Miss Piggy, Miss Liz Cheney. It could not be a better staple on a horrible line of genes that just needs to never reproduce again.
Liz Cheney's making that happen.
Yeah.
Here's my thoughts, and I try to find the silver lining in all things. This one, well, that was a weird way of putting it. The only thing I was like, what would be if I had to say something at Dick Cheney's funeral? What would it be? And here's what I would say. I don't remember him coming out and saying diddly after he was out of office. I appreciate the fact that he just disappeared and just went on hunting trips and shot people there instead of forcing the country to shoot other people. You know what I'm saying? Like he just disappeared, man. And the only time he showed back up is when Christian Bale put on the mask and he did the movie. And I was like, hey, what happened to politicians who just retired at that age? Instead, we got Nancy Pelosi. We got Barack Obama coming out on pockets. Like, everyone shut up. Like, get out. We didn't like you then.
Go away.
We don't like you now. Get out of here. And I do find it funny that Liz Cheney did come out and didn't she endorse Kamala? And I was like,
oh yeah, she
that's
did
kind of fun.
Yeah.
And so I do appreciate, if I'm going to go from Dick Cheney, I'm going to say I appreciate Liz Cheney for one thing and one thing only, helping Trump win by endorsing Kamala. Thank you, Liz Cheney. Your job is done here, and you can go on now. And you should go on hunting trips or something and do whatever it is the Cheneys like to do. Yeah. You guys go out there. And so I do appreciate that. Big news. Hey, one other thing. I do find it, oh my God, this is where we get back into the psyop thing. I do find it hard. It's really hard.
It's psyop season, dude.
It's all I have. I was having this conversation with a family member of mine. He was like, well, what do you think about this person? I was like, oh my God, I think that's a psyop too. Everything's a freaking psyop now in my head.
Did you notice with the No Kings protest that they repeatedly told people in PSAs to wear gold, wear yellow? It means that this is the year of the color-coded yellow revolution.
Oh, well, Mamdani's in, so it makes sense.
Yeah. There's yellow all over his fuck. He wore the first public speaking appearance. He wore a yellow tie.
Who, Mamdani?
I think so.
Oh my God. Hey, well,
it's always going to come up.
What my point was is this never works for anybody in our group, our libertarian right wing extreme, whatever we are now, just asking questions group. works on us, because anytime they're like, look, Dick Cheney, because all the Democrats hate Dick Cheney too. Dick Cheney is the one running George Jr. And I sat back and was like, no, he's not. There's got to at least be 4, maybe 5, probably 50 people behind old Georgie boy doing whatever they want to do. And so every time someone's like, going back to Mamdani again, Mamdani's a commie, which is true. But he's also friends with Soros. So I know it looks like Mamdani's the bad guy here, but he's got like people behind him that are probably way worse. Not saying that he's not bad, just it's never one guy. And the reason I always say that is because if they're always pointing to one guy like they did Trump, it's because they're looking for a scapegoat. And if they can pin everything on one guy like a Dick Cheney or whoever, as soon as that guy leaves office like a Dick Cheney, they expect all of that stuff to go with him. And it's important for everybody to be like, no. There's more of you. There's plenty more of you. And I know we shut down the island, but I guarantee this is like a Jurassic Park franchise. There's more islands, guys. They're still making dinosaurs on other islands. This ain't over yet. And so that's all I want to say about that. When they're always like, this is the bad guy. Nope, there's at least 4 of them hanging out.
Well, it's a huge death blow to like the neocon agenda. It just harkens you back to like everything that the military-industrial complex stands for, the corporatocracy, just the endless wars, the money going right over the Potomac on blank checks, all that shit. He just embodies all that stuff.
He does.
Yeah.
I mean but it's good. It's good that he took a lot of the heat. I don't even think, and I know George Bush seemed like an idiot with the nuclear. But
it was all a show, though, man. I mean, the guy went to Yale, even though he didn't deserve it. He still went to Yale.
Exactly. And I don't even like Julian bringing up the AOC thing. That she's the only one I think is legit dumb. Like I think she's legit dumb, and someone just paid her way through it. I don't think she's a psyop. I don't think she's like a super evil genius, and she just happened to get lucky. I think she's an attractive.
She's central casting.
She's an actor. She's an actor, and somebody propped her up, and that is her. When she does those live streams and she's talking about how whatever her economic theories are at the time, it's that's legit her. She doesn't know how money works.
Why do you think she's brought 25 props to the floor to be voted on and not one's passed? Because you're a fucking retard.
Oh my god, she's a prop comic, dude. She's a prop act. She's a Carrot Top of Congress.
Yeah, with a fat rack.
Yeah, that does help. Carrot Top didn't have that.
It helps. Yeah. Well, he had a rack too.
yeah. Well, he's got guns. Which still weirds me out. Can we talk about that for a hot minute before we move on to the next? We're already going on close an hour.
We'll keep it brief on Jan 6.
I'm happy Carrot Top didn't go off into like hardcore heroin and drug addiction like Screech from Saved by the Bell. But super ripped Carrot Top makes me feel uncomfortable. Not in like, I find this just like he feels like an action figure, like an evil villain, because a hero's never got that kind of hair and ripped like a superhero, like a super villain. Like he took some kind of serum he shouldn't have took. He's an evil genius because he's got the hair, and now he's ripped and he's destroying Manhattan or Gotham, and freaks me out. Carrot Top freaks me out. He's supposed to be a comedian. He's supposed to be goofy and lanky, and now I feel like he took the super soldier serum and he's looking to take over the world.
He looks like the clown.
He does. He does kind of not look like a dude too. Hope he's watching this. All right, let's do one more topic that we hung out so much on this. It's been a great convo, dude. I love this. Let's do you want to talk about the Elon thing? Because I did not see that. I have a clip.
We'll keep it brief because it's kind of something that we continue to refer back to. But for our libertarian Austrian economics audience, our friends over there, I thought it went into pull this clip because I think, just checking in on old Elon, we haven't seen him, in the limelight since he left Doge. There's been a lot of conjecture about what they actually cut, what actually was taken out of the budget, out of the surplus, and what was actually reinvested back into government spending. Of course, it ends up being deficit spending, unfortunately. So, obviously we were saddened to find out that a lot of that went over the Potomac to the military. when it should have been just cut out of the budget outright. But I wanted to pull this clip and kind of just check in on him with Rogan and just kind of play a few minutes of that.
Yep, you got. Let's check this out real quick. Let me see if I did this properly.
Not as fun without him on TV.
Yeah.
It sounds so insane that this isn't chased down. I mean, like,
I agree.
That I mean that in and of itself is that's such mishandling.
Yes.
Oh, hold on. Let me back it up.
No, it's mind blowing. Is used as a de facto national ID number. You know, that's why, like, at the bank always asks for your social.
Right.
So, like, any financial institution will ask for your
this right?
social security number.
No, you got to back it up.
Oh, okay.
Back to the beginning, because he's talking about the cyclical nature of the use of funding through Social Security. So if you keep a person alive on the books through Social Security and you route all this money laundering through that, cyclically speaking, it funds all the other programs that they want to launder money for. So whether it means moving money for illegals, this is why they keep people's identification records open through Social Security, because of the fact that they can move all this money to launder around for other bullshit that they want to do.
Gotcha. I'm gonna pull it back to the beginning. This is my fault, guys. But the problem is with finding where to start with Elon, is because he's so autistic. He stops in between words for about 10 seconds, and so you're like, "Oh my god, is the video working?" And then he starts talking, and so it's real tricky. Elon makes it real tricky.
Yep. And the Social Security Administration weren't receiving Social Security Administration payments.
Lots of Tylenol.
That is true. What they forgot to mention is they're getting fraudulent payments from every other government program. Mm-hmm. And that's why the Dems were so opposed to turning off, to declaring someone dead who was dead, because it would stop the entire all the other fraud from happening.
And so, but all this, is it trackable? Like all this other fraud, if
totally
they
trackable.
wanted to, they could chase it all down.
Yeah, it's not even hard.
And yet they're opposing chasing it all down.
They're opposing chasing it all down because it turns off the money magnet for the illegals.
Illegals, there you go.
Oh, so this is where it comes down to on it.
Yep. Because that's we always wondered over the years, if there's no nanny state to give all this free money to illegals, what's the incentive for them to pour over the border? And this is kind of, unmasking, the levers behind the Wizard of Oz of like, okay, so how are they doing it physically? We knew that it was a circuitous route to move the Social Security money, but why were they why were they so hell-bent on certain levers being not pulled, and what was the reason for that?
I think the problem is it all does seem to be linked, and it goes back to Israel. No, I'm just playing. I think it goes back next week's episode. Thanks for tuning in. What I think, and this is where I normally my basis is, especially when I'm like, everything's a psyop. It just seems like every time I see stuff like this, I'm like, oh, that's why. Isn't that surprising? I'm like, if your main idea is like the people who are in charge of how the money moves or how the government works or the laws being created, it seems like their only one intention, if you were to unify them all, is to disrupt society in an unnatural way, to get people to be either one, super scared, which would make sense, reliant on the government even more so, as they tend to do. And I think you can go back to Dick Cheney and the war in Iraq with this. I think a lot of that, well, obviously there's oil and there's all this global and stuff, but the cool benefit to starting foreign wars, or at least propping up other nations in foreign wars, is the destabilization for people in America. And I think it goes, again, full circle, right back to why the younger generations are just kind of tired of it all. And everyone thinks like, well, it's because they hate these people with the tiny hats. And you're like, no, it goes back to this. Like, why are you doing this and making our country harder for? And I don't even care. Like the young people I hear that I know, they don't really care about the illegals, except for they can look at the illegals and go, I think, because economics makes sense and supply and demand, I think it's harder to get a house because everything's flooded with people that just came over the border. And those are easy dots to connect because they make sense. And so it's one of those things like, why it's not all connected, other than the fact that if they can destabilize the entire country, what they thought was going to make people freak out and vote for more government. The cool thing is it seems like it's moving people in the other direction, where like we're all on to you now. The cat's out of the bag. And can I ask you, did you go into the Elon? Does he ever talk about what happened at the end? Other than this, does he talk about the whole thing, or is it all the same? Like they just wouldn't touch certain things.
Yeah, I mean, there's some ongoing things. Doge is still an operating department even with his absence, his removal. So I think there's a lot of things still yet to be uncovered. He definitely exposes a lot because he bit his tongue 9 months prior when he went on Rogan right after the election.
He did. So he talks about that
because they had not gotten to work yet. But yeah, they really get into a lot more other things related to the government spending and where they're able to trim fat and just the corruption, where the fraud is. Where you press and you feel pain, like where is the cancer coming from?
And so it's basically coming from just corruption. Do you think do you think it's people trying to get rich?
It's whatever transmission can be used to launder the most money and keep those streams of income continuing to flow in whatever direction is operable. And it's for both sides. It's a bipartisan corruption. The right uses it for their spending purposes, their leverage. The left uses it for obvious reasons. So it certainly doesn't fall along political lines.
I agree, man. I think, I mean, that always seems to be the case. Like that's what I'm saying. Like even if you were to cause Americans, you just destabilize America, and you kind of make all this younger generation not know what to do, especially if you remove SNAP and all of a sudden they don't know how to buy food. And then you're
glad you brought that up.
What you got?
You wrap up because I wanted to tie that with this continuous like impending doom with the lack of Social Security drying up. It's never missed a payment. I get it. We thought that SNAP wouldn't end, and it had a momentary pause, at least for most red states. But I think what's going to be interesting, you talk about the portion, that piece with the generation under 40, that's going to be a huge piece of leverage if people opt out of this, of the job market, the labor market. They continue to save their money. They move, their capital gains and all their dividends to other streams of income, whether it's blockchain with Bitcoin or a stable coin. We talk about the $38 trillion debt, but specifically with Social Security payments, that's the one bargaining chip where if they wanted to make the whole system collapse with people under 40, the working class of America, they could hold the boomers by the balls and really get their attention if they shut that shit off. Yeah, even for a day.
I think it's producing. I think it's always going to come out for the win. Like, to be honest, I think when you start to see, I don't think everybody on SNAP. I think it hurt a lot of people who lost their SNAP benefits, but I don't think people were without that much to the point where I'm hoping it wakes a lot of people up to not needing it, or to at least not relying on it that much. And it's not in the sense of being like, well, I got a new job and so now I can afford my groceries. I want people to realize how unstable their constants are. Like, the government's been paying me this whole time, and do you see how it can get shut off now?
Yep.
Start to think about that in life. Start to think about all these things that you rely on to work and function properly in a society that is functioning properly, because ours isn't. And these things are a good sign of what you should be prepared for in general. So it's the Jocko Willing thing. Yeah, it's like, good. Oh, I lost my SNAP benefits. Good. I'll figure out how to survive outside of that, and I'll become more self-sufficient. And I'll probably vote more right-wing or libertarian or anarchist in the process. And so I don't think the globalist plan is going to work to get everybody. I think it'll split, but I don't think it's going to do what they think it's going to do, where everyone gets scared and huddles up underneath the government wing. I don't.
And I think I think the real reason that people are pissed is because the people that know what's actually getting transmitted through SNAP benefits, majority of the time, it's not just one fat grocery bill at the top of the month for diapers and all this stuff. It's really the fact that it's a bargaining chip. People are trading their SNAP benefits for $100 cash so they can go buy a fifth, or go buy a chain, or go buy fucking Jordans. And also, it's multi-generational. So if this gravy train passes through your grandmother, then your mother, then you, it becomes something where you are so reliant that it doesn't even cross your mind to look.
It's part of life.
It's part of life.
It's part of life.
It's part of life. It's part of the victim complex. It's always going to be there. It's like death and taxes. It's the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me. Yeah.
And again, it's it's welfare rewarding failure and extracting wealth to punish success, people that deserve it, that earn that money.
Yeah,
that's all it's ever been.
Yeah, I agree. And that analogy, the generational thing, it makes sense, because if your grandfather, had a limp and he used a crutch, and then he's like, well, this is what we do because it's in our family, and he hands it down to his kid, and his kid doesn't have a limp, but he uses a crutch because that's what grandpa did. And then eventually you get a grandkid who does have a limp because of atrophy, because his grandparents taught their entire family to walk with a crutch, and now the kid's got a short leg because he never used it because he was told to. This is how the system works. This is what you do. And
there was, before we move on, there was a great clip. I can't find it because I think the internet is just evil, and I think YouTube deleted it somewhere. But it was an old video of Anthony Cumia and Gavin McInnes on their show, and they were watching this old footage of Reagan walking through the rubble, early 80s, right before he got elected, when he landslided Carter, and he's in New York, and he's in like the South Bronx, and he's like getting yelled at, like I think it was in Harlem or something, by a bunch of Puerto Ricans, like, what you gonna do for us, yo? What you gonna do for us? And he's like, why don't you get off your ass? With his little bath time for bombs.
Yeah.
And you just see the rubble and stuff. And Gavin just goes, he's like, I had a neighbor like this in Spanish Harlem when he was living in New York. I think it might have been on the east side, actually. And he's like, and you could hear someone knocking through the wall, complaining, bitching. It's the same woman. It was like a mother of three who went to the town hall, and whenever they had an open town hall, she would go and complain about the paint chipping off her water heater every single time for months and months every year. And he's like, scrape it off, buy some paint at Home Depot.
Oh, that's
holy shit.
I can't hear Reagan without thinking of his comments about the Bohemian Grove.
Yeah.
Right? It was Reagan. Right. Yeah. We don't have to go into that. But if you are watching this and you don't know, Reagan knew about the Bohemian Grove, and he had some comments about it. Super based. Super fun.
And if I find that clip, I'll do a follow-up. I'll send it in chat.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, man, thanks for hanging out on this Sunday evening. Pardon will lie. Man, why don't you tell everybody who's tuning in now and later where to find you and what's going on.
Yeah, thanks out there in the chat. Great, David, as always. It's always good reconnecting and shit. Right now, I'm working on some gigs. I mean, you guys can find my usual spot, AB Raniello on Instagram. Very visual guy. So I will be at the Libertarian Party convention here in Connecticut next Saturday, the 15th.
Nice.
And in addition to that, I have some upcoming gigs I'm going to be posting and promoting. I got a show coming up at my alma mater, my high school. They have an annual art show for the old crew, the OGs. So a couple more group shows at the end of the year, and there's the gallery I work at in East Hartford here in Connecticut, Intercommunity Gallery. Shout out to them. I don't know, they don't want to be associated with this stream.
They probably don't. Never mind. Just ignore that part.
They definitely don't. But we have a really great show up right now called In Their Own Words of 25 plus artists that speak about kind of their resiliency and overcoming. And it's just a beautiful show. And there's a nice audio component to it. Really great stuff. So again, stand up for arts here in Connecticut with a nice libertarian lean. That's my motto. And thank you guys for tuning in.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate everybody staying up. And the thing is, I like it. Again, this goes back to the Jocko Willing. I'll say this part about artists who are still making art, because a lot of them are freak out about AI, which rightfully so. I get it. But a lot of them are like, yeah, I don't like this, but I'm not going to stop. I can't stop. This is what I do. And so they just keep making art in the face of an industry that's coming in that could obviously take things. And I think they're the ones who last. It's the ones who like, oh, AI is here, I guess I'll put my paintbrush down. I'm like, well, you might not have been an artist to begin with, because you can't stop an artist from making. They're just gonna do it. And so
gonna happen. It's as natural as breathing. And for any of those who may have heard some of the prelude that we were teasing at the open, at the intro, we will be covering the Jan 6 pipe bomber once we have more information. So I did want to just put a momentary pause on that. We will get to that at a later date.
Yeah, and I'm gonna try to be. I think we're gonna try to be back here next week. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hit or miss till after Thanksgiving for me. But we'll see it. We'll see how that goes after Thanksgiving. Then we'll come up with a decent schedule because we're gonna have to hit the 3i Atlas coming in December too.
Yeah.
So we got a bunch of stuff coming up. If anything crazy happens, then I'll try my best to make sure we're here next Sunday. But either way, love you guys. You guys know what to do. Like, subscribe, share this with tell all your friends. Like, the Taking Back Sunday album. Do that thing. And we'll be back here next week. Bye, everybody.